It's a warm welcome back to the channel. We are looking at the warning to fathers. So let's go to Colossians chapter 3, verse 21. It says, "Fathers, do not provoke your children, lest they become discouraged." In our text, Paul is warning fathers not to provoke their children so that the children are not discouraged. And to provoke, used in the verse, according to the King James Bible Dictionary, it means to stir up anger, incense, or enrage. Paul is warning fathers against provoking their children. We are going to do four things: how that fathers addressed the point of difficulty, how fathers provoke their children, the consequence. And so Paul is directing this warning at fathers. And some argue that no, it is to parents in general, but it is not, because the flow of the text does not suggest this. Paul uses parents in the previous verse when he talks about children obeying their parents. But when it comes to discouraging or provoking their children, he uses the word fathers. Paul warns fathers because they are the God-appointed leaders of the household. When they are tasked with a burden or responsibility of teaching their wives, and this naturally extends to the children. So now the point or difficulty: regardless of how adorable children are, they are born with man's greatest problem. It is called sin. And so being born to Christian parents does not make one necessarily a Christian. Therefore, children are born with some four needs. They need to grow in wisdom, they need to grow physically, they need to grow socially, they need to grow spiritually. And this reflects what the Bible says about how Jesus Christ developed in Luke chapter 2. And in Proverbs chapter 13, verse 24, parents are taught to discipline their children or risk harming their children's development. The difficulty of getting children to develop properly may tempt fathers into provoking their children. However, the command still stands that fathers are not to provoke their children. So how do fathers provoke their children? One, when they are unpredictable. A child gets away with something today and he's punished for the same thing tomorrow. When fathers nag, repeating commands, the same command to the point that it becomes disturbing or even troubling. Partiality. One child gets away with something and another child is punished for the same thing. When there's no time to listen and dig deep into a matter before a child is disciplined. Overprotection, unfair criticism, harshness. For example, to exaggerate, when you kill a mosquito with a bullet. When children are also neglected, it can provoke them. When parents or when fathers are dishonest, it will also provoke children. There is something that underlies all these. These do not characterize how God deals with us. And the consequence, you see, it is a very serious thing to have children discouraged. This is when children become rebellious as a result of resenting their fathers. They simply become tired of them. Children may get out of hand when they reach this point. This may adversely affect the development of the children or the relationship they have with their fathers. You see, fathers are called not just to be disciplinarian, they are also called to be loving. To have this healthy balance, we must look up to God, and it takes Christ-likeness to have love and discipline intersect. And in John chapter 1, verse 14, the Bible tells us that Jesus is full of grace and truth. So the call to be a Christian father is a call to follow the example of Jesus. This means that fathers must be ruled by the peace of Christ. They must be filled with the word of Christ. They must live in the name of Christ. Fatherhood cannot make a person good, but living under the authority of Christ is what produces good fathers. This is what it means to not provoke children to anger, living under the authority of Christ. May God help us in this area. God richly bless you.